You know, I wasn't hot on the Bad Batch finale, but after watching this, that Bad Batch finale seems pretty okay. So, Star Wars Tales of the Empire. This is the second season, whatever. They made a whole new series, technically a new name, from the Tales of the Jedi thing that they made a few years back now. And I actually really liked the Star Wars Tales of the Jedi animated shorts. I loved them. I thought they were great, actually. Even the Ahsoka stuff wasn't as good, but the Dooku stuff was incredible. I will say it was great. I loved it. And I thought, okay, we're going into something a little darker here. You know, Tales of the Empire. You know, the trailer looked kind of interesting. You had Grievous, you had Grand Admiral Thrawn. Some weird character choices, more with the Morgan Elsbeth choice that we'll be following. But, you know, there's still some hope there. You know, with the trailer, it kind of looked like it could be something. With Disney Star Wars, I'm not all, generally overall, I don't really have any total interest really anymore. It's just like I'm watching to see what the hell they're even going to do now. I'm like, what is Disney going to do? Is it going to even be good or not? Who knows? This one I thought could have been, and I was actually quite surprised this time around. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is the best part of the entire 6 short episodes here. And that is the first episode of the Morgan Elsbeth stuff, where General Grievous is raining havoc on the Night Sisters, and she is one of the only ones to survive this attack. And General Grievous is just running around, freaking slaughtering everybody, and just being awesome. And I love to see that, man. General Grievous, man, fucking badass. Glad to see him back. The design is great. He looks awesome. And I don't have anything bad to say about General Grievous in this. He was fucking cool. So, love General Grievous. Hell yeah, I was rooting on General Grievous this whole time. I don't care about Morgan Elsbeth at all. I don't even know why they're doing a story on her. It's so damn strange. But I'm curious. I was always curious to see what kind of characters we'd see amongst her story. And General Grievous slaughtering everyone that she knows and loves was kind of fun to watch. Morgan Elsbeth's story in this is basically she's one of the only survivors of this attack, and she's taken in by these random people in the mountain, and she gets them killed by separatists at the end, and she starts to go on down a dark path. That's it. That's the first episode. So then we jump to the second episode. It's her during the Empire. The Empire is now a thing, and she is trying to prove her efforts to the Empire. You can see the TIE Defender. I think that's what it is. I think it was in Rebels and stuff with Thrawn. She is like having this design, and she's trying to pitch it to the Empire. It's not really going well, and the Empire doesn't really see her efforts all too well. She goes back to her place that we see from, you know, Mandalorian, where she fought Ahsoka and stuff with Mando. So we get to see that location a little bit more in this. She goes back there, and she's still kind of like in charge of this town, and she's telling them that the Empire isn't really going to be all much of aid. And then Thrawn comes in at the end. So look, I like Lars Mikkelsen's voice for Thrawn. I think it is fantastic. Him in Ahsoka was awful because they just didn't make him actually have the physical presence that he has in the animated shows that he's in. So, I mean, his presence in Rebels, his presence in this, at least the presence itself, maybe you might not like what they did with the character, but the presence itself, I think, is so much better. He looks the best he has yet in this short scene we have with him. He looks great. The voice is great and everything. I love to see Thrawn, but there's not really much of him. It's basically just him recruiting her to the Empire and joining his kind of faction there, and that's kind of how they link up. That's how the episode ends. So the next episode is her again at that same place, and it seems like it's very close to that Mandalorian episode with Ahsoka. And there's this New Republic people that come in. They try to recruit her and make her step down. She doesn't. She kills them, and it ends with her basically becoming the big bad guy and ruling over this town, lighting the trees on fire. We kind of saw the burnt forest there in that Ahsoka episode, so it's very close to that, I would assume. And that's her story. So the one thing I will say about the Morgan Elsbeth story is it was actually the dark story. It was the better story of the two stories, which I did not expect. Because the Bariss Offee story, which we will get into, is way worse than I thought it would be. Morgan Elsbeth, I don't care about her character at all. She died in Ahsoka. in a pretty lame way, and generally overall I don't care about her character. I really don't. But it was, I guess, okay to see some dark stuff in a show that you would expect to see dark stuff in, with a Tales of the Empire. So that was okay. It was like, okay, whatever. Interesting. Now we jump into the Bariss Offee story. And this is the one I'm looking forward to. We've all been looking forward to this. We've been wanting to see what happened to Barriss after she bombed the Jedi Temple and framed it on Ahsoka and tried to get away with it. So she's a prisoner now of the Republic. And she is witnessing Order 66 in her cell. So the troopers come to her cell. And this is my first thing that I noticed was a little off to me. The troopers tell her that, be lucky you're not a Jedi. Because, you'd be with them and you wouldn't be living either. We'd kill you. And that was strange to me because of something they've already done in Disney Star Wars, where they sent an order out to go kill Maul on the Venator ship. They were just wiping them all out. They were just killing them all. Didn't matter if they were technically a Jedi or not. I'm pretty sure they were just killing all of them, getting rid of them. Anyone who was a potential issue for the Empire. Now, I guess it does make a little sense because they were going to bring her in as an Inquisitor a little later, so maybe they wanted to keep her alive, but I did notice that as something a little strange at first. Like, she would have been killed on sight if we're going to go on the same type of storyline we had with Darth Maul. They went to go kill Maul, they should just go in and kill her too, but that's besides the point. For the story, it makes sense. They're going to keep her alive to try and train to become an Inquisitor, and that is what happened. So they have this lady walk in. We'll see more of her later, unfortunately. She recruits her to become an Inquisitor or have this new task. We get to see the beginnings of the Imperial Inquisitor building that we see in Kenobi. We all love Kenobi. Greatest Star Wars thing ever. We get to see the Grand Inquisitor. He actually looks like the Grand Inquisitor. That's good. He doesn't look like all round-headed, not accurate at all design from Kenobi. He trains Barriss a little bit. He has this little fight scene with her, which is actually pretty good. I think this episode is, overall, the whole episode is probably the best episode of the 6 episodes. But the best scene was General Grievous earlier. But the best episode, I say, would be this Barriss episode in the Inquisitor area, training to become an Inquisitor. Some more of the Grand Inquisitor training, and her final test is to kill another trainee for the Inquisitors. And she kills him, and she wins the fight at the end and becomes an Inquisitor for Lord Vader. And the whole Lord Vader thing in the trailers earlier was a big, massive tease, and that was it. That is the only Darth Vader scene we see in this Tales of the Empire. He walks in, sits down, and looks at his Inquisitors. Probably his first iteration of Inquisitors, and that's it. That's the only Vader we see. He doesn't talk. He just walks in, sits down, and that's it. So they threw that in there just to put that in the trailer, I think. That's all that is. And that is where the good ends. That is where the good ends for Tales of the Empire. Because then we jump into the second episode of Barriss' story. And oh my god. They walk in, she's with this lady Inquisitor who recruited her. And they're out to go and find some Jedi. That's what they do. So it's kind of reminiscent of Kenobi, kind of, where they walked into the bar, the building, and asked where the Jedi are. And once they find out where the Jedi are, Barriss asks a kid where the Jedi are, where they are. The kid tells them, she convinces them, and you start to see the stupid soft side to Barriss. And she's starting to turn on the Empire already. Like, she's not with the Empire's brutal ways. It's like, what the hell is going on? We all expect Barriss to be this darker character. She bombed the Jedi Temple and killed Jedi and people in the Jedi Temple and workers and stuff. It's like, now she's going to be sympathetic. Oh, she's learned her ways and she's going to be a good person now. Is this really the route we're going to go again with Disney Star Wars? Yes, it is. That is the route we're going to go. So she finds out where the Jedi are, where they are, and then the other Inquisitor kills everyone at the bar. Kills everyone there, or the building. She kills everyone there except the kid. They walk out, and then they go to find the Jedi. And this was the funny one. All right, so it's not that big part of the story, but it is something you pick up because you're like, what was that? So they go to find the Jedi. They kill the Jedi, or they almost tried to kill the Jedi. And Barriss turns on her master, or whatever she is to her, the other Inquisitor, and she fights the other Jedi for a little bit. The Jedi almost kind of, talks with her a little bit, and then they almost kill the Jedi. I think he's still alive. I'm going to say he because it literally is a he. They kill the Jedi almost, and as they kill the Jedi, they get into a feud because the one Inquisitor wants to finish a job, which is kind of correct. Like that's what they're sent there to do. They are there to go in and take out the Jedi, and I'm all for it. That's what they're supposed to do. But with Disney Star Wars, what we now have to do is make everybody sympathetic and become the good guy. Nobody can be the bad guy. The only reason Morgan Elsbeth became the bad guy is because that's where her story ends up. That's where she is in Mandalorian and Ahsoka. But with this, it's like, oh, well, we've been waiting to see Barriss' story. Everyone's been thinking, oh God, she had to become Inquisitor, right? Well, she was hardly an Inquisitor and she became the good guy. She throws the other Inquisitor off the mountain. We don't see her again until the next episode. And she runs over to the side of the Jedi. But the funny thing is, whenever they're referencing this Jedi, they continue to say they're dying. They are over there dying on the ground. I was talking to them. They are doing this. It's like, this is a dude. So Barriss saved the they-them Jedi. I don't know how many people would have picked up on that. I don't know. Honestly, I did. I picked up on it pretty quickly because it's weird. It's fucking weird. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense when you're speaking that way in the sentence. It's a very clearly a male Jedi, and they just nearly killed him. And she's constantly over and over saying, we got to go save them. We got to go save them. The kid in the bar or the building said, oh, the Jedi are up there. They are there up on the mountain. There's only one Jedi. There's not multiple Jedi. So that's what we're doing now in Star Wars, Disney Star Wars, as we do. So the they-them Jedi is, I guess, still alive. Doesn't really matter because the they-them Jedi is nowhere to be seen in the next episode. So she runs to the they-them Jedi's side, which is a guy, and the episode ends. So we get to see good person Barriss in the last episode. She butchers her hair in the last episode, and now she's this great mother in this frozen tundra planet because Barriss is now the good guy. Just like that, no more bad Barriss. So Barriss gets confronted by her old master, I guess. I'm just going to call her master, her mentor, as the Inquisitors. She comes to hunt down a Force-sensitive child. Barriss sends the child off. They fight a little bit. She sends her master into these tunnels. She misses out on getting the child. Barriss runs back into the tunnels and tries to convince her to turn good. Doesn't. Barriss gets a little flesh wound, no matter. Doesn't matter. It's Disney Star Wars. She'll be fine. Don't worry, guys. Just a flesh wound. She'll be okay. She'll be up and walking in about 2 hours. That's how it goes. So Barriss gets stabbed straight through the chest. Like, she should be dead. But it's left unclear. And they walk out. Her master picks her up, drops her lightsaber, leaves it in the cave, and walks out with Barriss. I don't know if that's going to be left for a story later, in some other story. They very much left it unclear. Like, I don't know what they're going to do there. But maybe we'll see it again. I have no desire to see it again. They already ruined any interest of what I had in seeing what they would do with Barriss after she just did the generic flip against the Empire and she's the good guy now. I just want a bad guy story. That's all I want. So the Barriss story ended up being one good episode, and then they destroyed the rest of it. We got a they-them Jedi. We got another sympathetic Inquisitor at the end because she kind of turned good. She saved Barriss, maybe. I don't know. So everyone's just a good guy now. We're all good. Hardly much of the Empire. I know the Inquisitors are part of the Empire, but like, there's not a whole lot of the Empire in Tales of the Empire. Even in the Morgan Elsbeth stuff, like, give us an Empire story. Where are the Imperial stories in this? I don't understand. So, this Tales of the Empire thing, it is a mess. A total mess. Disney Star Wars is a joke. And we've known this. Bad Batch was mid. It wasn't great, but there were some moments in it that just that were decent, you know. I could empathize and feel for some of the characters at some points. This, look, I know it's very short little stories. It's not supposed to be super deep. But when you get to this character that we've all been waiting to see, one of the few last remaining characters that you could tell a story with that hasn't been told yet or ruined yet, you went ahead, you did it, you ruined it, you made it bland, you made it boring, you made it dumb. You did it with Barriss, so now we just know that Barriss is just kind of out there doing whatever the heck she wants. Not as like an Inquisitor or something cool, honestly. Everyone's a good guy, everyone's against the Empire, no one's just going to be the bad guy. Why can't somebody just be the bad guy? I don't get it. But, yeah, man. Morgan Elsbeth, don't care about her at all. General Grievous, that first 3 minutes of the first episode, fucking awesome. Love to see him just taking everybody out with his lightsabers. Really cool to see that. But otherwise, like, Disney Star Wars, man, like, I don't understand. I don't understand how we're at this point. Yeah, I'm annoyed. It's one of those little stories from Clone Wars that was super interesting, especially with Ahsoka's arc. Bariss Offee, we kind of wanted to see what happened with her. I knew I shouldn't have had any expectations with Disney Star Wars, but here I am getting a little worked up about it. And it's actually just kind of funny at the end of the day. It's just funny because this is exactly where we would end up. And, yeah, I can't wait to go see Phantom Menace in theaters tomorrow as I'm recording this. That's going to be the real Star Wars. Can't wait to go see that. 25th anniversary. I'm glad they're doing that. I am, because that'll be great. George Lucas' Star Wars. That's the only shit I care about at this point. Disney Star Wars. It's had some good stuff. Not much at all, but there's been little hints and bits and pieces through the years. Not a whole lot, though. It really has not been. So, Tales of the Empire, far, far worse than Tales of the Jedi. It just seems that even if they make something good, it can't last. And now Barriss' story is bland and lame. And, yeah. On to the Acolyte, everybody. Star Wars is, thriving right now. It really, really is. Oh, boy.